We have made a decision based on a pilot that we did pre-COVID to...
Rachel, I think your headphones might have stopped working because we can hear what's happening in the pool.
Oh no.
That's better.
Can you hear now?
I think it's better.
Yeah. Are you sure you can hear?
We can hear you. It's fine.
Right. Sorry, I don't know where. Oh, right. Sharon's just changing computers because she's got no sound. So I'll carry on. I'm not sure where my sound left you. But as I was saying, thank you all for attending the meeting this afternoon. We have made a decision as a service following the, just admitted somebody else, following a pilot that we did pre-COVID to introduce Swimphony to the school swimming service. We had great feedback from the pilot that we did with schools, staff, and we've also been out and spoken to other local authorities that use Swimphony, and we feel it is a great addition to the service that we offer for schools. And unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to turn it around for block 1. So we put it in place for all schools for a launch in block 2, and then it will be open for all schools and all pupils from next academic year, launching it from September with a new awards scheme. In block 2, we have made the decision just to assess on the national curriculum standards, similar to what we've done in block 1, and not add the awards until the next academic year. But we can update you on all that after after we've done the training, and once we've got it up and running. That's something that we're going to put it in place later on. Other than that, I think that's everything I've got to say in terms of an introduction before passing you over to Kevin. Emma, do you think I've missed anything there, or have you got anything to add?
It was just to say that to be honest, the Swimphony is going to be a massive improvement on the service we can deliver to schools. So one of the main reasons that we're doing this is because we think it'll have a huge impact on teaching and learning for as the main thing that we want to improve in that area. It'll allow us to work together and communicate better. You'll have results quicker. You'll know what's happening week in, week out with individual pupils, so you'll be able to support pupils better from your end. So it's going to have a massively positive impact. Not only that, it is going to be way better than having pieces of paper on poolside for GDPR purposes. So this is going to be completely secure, and that's been a big focus, hasn't it, the last few years on GDPR. So this is mainly because we want to improve our lessons and how well the children are progressing in our lessons. But as a secondary thing, it is going to be massively much better for GDPR and keeping children's data safe. So yeah, is there anything we've missed, Karen, Tim? Just so you know, I'm Emma Banks. If you've not met me, I am PESOL Service Manager. I also work at Thornbridge Outdoors and Educational Visits. Rachel is head of the swim service. She's in charge. Karen Sales is swim coordinator, and we've got Tim Ward on the call as well, who's our senior business support. We'd be lost without him. So yeah, that's our team. And I think it's probably time for Kevin to introduce himself. Rachel, would you say?
Yep.
Brill. Thanks. Rachel, are you all right muting yourself? Because the sound coming from the pool is really loud.
All right, sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. I'll mute me as well. Over to you, Kevin.
Okay, thanks, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. If a couple of you can nod, make sure, you can hear me. Good stuff. So thank you for sort of attending this afternoon. We'll try and keep things as brief as possible while making sure that you get everything you need out of this sort of session. just as a quick background for Swimphony, we are sort of 8 years down the line in terms of when we started the project. The project was started with Manchester City Council, with their very similar size local authority to Sheffield in terms of school numbers, 144 schools they started with. Yeah, and again, all of the reasons that Emma just listed was the reasons why they wanted the system in the first place. They wanted to be able to manage things. They wanted the schools to have more access to information, and also as a central service, it gives the guys at the swim service a fantastic opportunity to see exactly what's going on in every pool, with every single swimming teacher, with every school, with every year group, with every pupil, so everything can be drilled down, as well as then providing the schools with an enhanced service in terms of the data that they're providing to you, so you can fully review, because it's not always the class teacher or the PE coordinator that can go to swimming lessons with the students. It means that you can, see that information if it's you that's responsible for that, when you can't necessarily be at poolside the whole time. So Swimphony is across the country. This academic year so far, we've had 34,000 students that have gone through the system with our school swimming product. So that's just over 700 schools. So we'll be having another 140-ish schools at some point with Sheffield, and we've got a few other local authorities this academic year, and then a huge amount lined up for September. So it's really exciting for us. I think the downtime over the last couple of years has helped us, where data suddenly just got scattered with children that started swimming and then didn't, and no one knew where that information was. So a lot of local authorities have been looking at how they can improve sort of that transfer and stopping having that data loss of folders on poolside, and whether they go back to school or not, and when they do. So Swimphony has a poolside app which we'll go through. The information that schools provide to Swimphony will come up on that app for each lesson, and the swimming teachers on poolside will deliver that lesson with that information. So this is not for the schools to be marking off attainment. This is still the swimming teachers on poolside will be marking everything off. To start off with, just the national curriculum, but down the line, the new award scheme. Okay, but schools, you'll then be able to see that information as that comes through. So that's where we'll just quickly start, so you can sort of get an appreciation of this. On the screen here is an example of the poolside app, so you can see children's names listed, all the different stages in the award scheme, and how many of those skills have been completed, etc., etc. Obviously, the attendance will be up to date. So again, Sheffield as a service can be seeing that information, and providing you with the information of all the children that have, for example, had 80% attendance and up. They should be hitting this target on the national curriculum. If children aren't attending, you'll be able to see that information, and that again will help the service to know exactly why certain targets aren't being hit, because you'll have all that information to hand. So there's a lot that the tablet will do, and we'll be training the swimming teachers up next week, ready for your second half of the year. So again, with the information that schools provide, the system on poolside has all the different requirements that Sheffield will have for their award scheme. The swimming teachers can create groups. So in their groups, they'll be creating their 3 groups as usual, and then that means they can all then use their own tablets with their own groups, so they won't be sort of slowing things down, sharing the paperwork around the pool. Again, more enhanced features means that data can be recorded at the start of a program, so we can see where children access their swimming, what level they were at, and obviously we can then compare that to the level that they leave the swimming service. So that information's all there, as well as, and you'll see this on the portal when we look at that. We can use forecasting as well, so a traffic light system on each student to provide you with information about whether or not those children will be passing their national curriculum requirements. And if they're not, that means you can sort of jump in and work with your swimming teachers and your swimming pool to see how you can support those children. And again, all that information, medical, all that sort of stuff, anything you upload for those pupils will be available for the swimming teachers. So we do have options for you to indicate medical information for the children, SEN information for the children, and also from your sims, whether they've got English as an additional language. So if you put any of that information up for the students that you upload, then that information will be available on poolside for the swimming teachers, and it's only on poolside for the swimming teachers. There's no other reports there that private information can be viewed. So on an admin portal, so just to give you an overview, you can see there front and centre, we've got national curriculum requirements for the whole of what will be Sheffield. We can see that's T's active there for this example. So Sheffield as a swimming service will be able to see information for the whole of the local authority area, for each individual pool, for each individual teacher, each individual school, all the year groups, everything will be able to be monitored. So over the years, they'll really be able to sort of drill down all the expected outcomes at each week level sort of thing to make sure that their lessons are progressing and be able to work with the swimming teachers to support them on that. So there's a huge amount in there on a global scale for Sheffield. On the screen here, this is what we're going to look at in a moment, is the schools portal. So every single school in the service will have their own private portal. Okay, so after this call, we're going to sort of review things, and then you'll then start to get sent links for your school to register. Okay, so your school has been linked to sort of your admin at or your office at email. Okay, so one thing to remember on this call is once the school has been set up and you've accessed that first registration, any number of teachers can then have their own login. Okay, so once it's been set up, we try and set it up with an office email address just so that's linked to the school rather than an individual. But then any individual teacher, head teacher, school support staff, office managers, they can all have their own login, so you can log in on your own without having to share passwords and things across the school. Okay, so that can all be done once the school has been registered onto Swimphony. We can see there, every school's got their own secure portal. So again, any information you upload there is only viewable to you as a school, and then you can use that to upload your pupils from your school management system and then link those pupils to lessons. Okay, so if you've got one lesson and 30 children to upload, that's nice and easy. If you've got multiple lessons and a few different year groups coming up to swim, then yeah, the system will work things out using the filters and things like that to help you just deliver that. For most schools, this should be sort of a one-time job, just upload and link pupils. Okay, and then once that's been done, which will tend to be the office staff, the people that know what they're doing with their school management systems, that's the key. That's certainly the thing we've learnt over the years, is the person that knows what they're doing with the school management system is our best friend. They can sort of get this done quite quickly. It can then be left then to school teachers, class teachers or PE coordinators to then link the classes to the right lessons especially if you've got multiple lessons across the week, whoever knows who's swimming when. And that again, that will be different for each school. So on the web portal, okay, it's live. So as soon as the lesson's happened and the swimming teachers have uploaded the data, that data will be updated for you. So it's in real time. So you'll be able to see exactly what's going on with your national. Just like any other subject, you would know where your children are at. I'm expecting in the past, you probably wouldn't know where your children are at with swimming until they've finished. So whereas now you'll have all that information to hand every week once that has come through. So that means when you've got parents' evenings and things like that, you've got an easy access to all of those results to be able to sort of showcase that. Again, once you get lessons, they can be uploaded and you can put those information in. If you have like a normal lesson, it would then be possible to maybe have a catch-up lesson or anything like that. So it might be that you have a few different versions of your program going through the system, but that can all be done for you within Swimphony. And then the key bit is, and we've got sort of full documentation on all of this, is that obviously we've got a lot of local authorities using Swimphony, over 700 schools. We've gone through a lot to make sure that the data is secure in there. Okay, so the key aspect of that is the security of the portal. You only upload what you want to upload. Okay, we have required fields, but again, all the information is fully secure in our encrypted servers. The tablets are encrypted, all the data is encrypted, so there's no way of being able to extract our database and be able to see what that information shows. Okay, we use the UPN to link the pupils' data, which means year on year, if your children return to swimming, you can re-upload them, which means that their class will change. So Mrs. Brown's year 4 could change to Mrs. Green's year 5. Okay, obviously the system can't guess that, so you can just re-upload everybody, and as long as you've used the UPN, then those children will stay in the system and their attainment will be retained year on year. Okay, so children can return to swimming and they can pick up where they left off when they were last with the swimming service at the pool. Okay, and they can carry on. Even if you change pools, because you might be between a couple of pools and you might go to a different pool the next year, they'll have the same awards going through for the next set of lessons. Okay, so there is a bit of information there. Obviously, we'll have lots of other bits and pieces there, but if you did need it, swimphony.com is sort of there for you for information regarding Swimphony. What we're going to do is quickly look at how the system works on the school side. Okay, so I'm going to open up an example school from our test account. Okay, so again, as we mentioned before, front and center are your national curriculum requirements. You'll be able to see those getting loaded up with your swimmers once they start swimming with Swimphony. You can see that tab that's highlighted is current swimmers. Okay, you can also have current year 6 pupils. Okay, so that is useful a couple of years down the line. If your year 5s have swam but they didn't swim in year 6, you'll be able to see their results in that year 6 tab, no matter when they swam. Okay, the current swimmers is anybody who's swam in the current academic year. Okay, so it could be block 1 or block 2, but that will show in that tab. Current year 6 pupils will be anyone that's in year 6 that has ever swam with Swimphony. So you can use that for your reporting or for talking to the swimming service and say, I've got these 5 children that didn't complete their awards. What can we do with them? Can we fit them in? We've also then got leavers. Okay, so 2021 leavers. That would be the system archives everybody at the end of their program. So for most of your schools, it will be year 6. So at the end of year 6, on the 1st of August, children are archived, okay, in year 6. All the other children have their year group moved up one. So year 5s will become year 6s, year 4s will become year 5s on the 1st of August. But on the 1st of August for your year 6s, they'll be archived, so you can still access their performance records, but not any of the other details. Okay, so they're there for you to still maintain that, because not all the schools always get all their information out that they need to at the time they should. But it also means you can compare last year's year 6 with this year's year 6, etc. So that information stays there. Once they've gone through that year, their archive year, then they're then deleted from the system permanently. Okay, so you won't be able to access them at all once that is completed. Okay. So in this example, if I click on timetable, I can see that I've got a timetable block. If I click on second half of the year, so from February, so this is what you guys will have that are starting up for the second block. You'll see there's currently no pupils linked to the lesson, but we have the pool name, we have the day, the time, and the date range of your lessons there. Okay, so that's what you should see when you first open up Swimphony. You should also then see, for most of you that weren't involved in the trial, a blank pupils list. Okay, so if I click on pupils, this is sort of a key area here. This would get populated by your pupils, and we'll go through that in a moment. So the one thing would be to check the timetable. The other thing, as soon as the first person logs into Swimphony, you can click on users, and then you can add whoever needs access. So it might be your head teacher, deputy head, school business manager, PE coordinator, year 4 teacher, whoever would have access to Swimphony. Not everybody needs it. And you can also tick the box, send default alerts to this user. So that will be things like a new lesson has been created. So maybe somebody might want access, so for example, the school business manager might need access to help uploading the pupil data at the start of the program. They don't need to have the default alerts about the lessons. Okay, so that's up to you how you use that. Okay, so you can keep people on there. You can take their default alerts off if they were a year 4 teacher and aren't anymore, so their pupils aren't swimming. Okay, and you can also, the key thing for this is you can delete people, okay, and edit people. So sometimes schools change email addresses because you turn into an academy, or or you move away from a different email system, change your web addresses and things. So you can change that yourselves. But obviously you need to make sure you do that before the emails are changed, because there is an authentication process to go through. That's why everybody needs their own account, because we want to keep things as secure as possible. It's not possible for you to share email addresses and passwords. You need to have access to your own email, because each time you log in, you'll be asked for an authentication code. Okay, so that will come through each time. So that's just something to make sure that you do, is to add the users in at the start, and then it's there. Okay, for all the way through. So again, as we mentioned before, this is your own portal. So every school's got their own version of this. At the bottom left of every page, there's a support button. Okay, so that will come through to us. It'll already be populated by sort of name and email address and things, because you would have logged in. Okay, and then you can pop the request in there, that support request, which will come through to us, and we will help you out. Okay, as you said, we've got over 700 schools in the system already, so that's lots of schools that have gone through and sort of gone through training and seen bits of information and been uploading data. Okay, so we probably had most questions before, which is good, but yeah, we'll obviously help out where we can. The other thing you'll notice when you log in resources, under website links, there should be a couple of links, but one will be the pupil upload guide. Okay, so that is the guide on how to upload your data into Swimphony. Okay, so you can click on that guide and that'll take you step by step through. We're going to quickly go through that in a minute, but a step-by-step guide. Okay, and that guide looks like this. Okay, so how we upload and put data into Swimphony is just detailed in this word guide here. Okay, so it's got all the information about what the data is that we require, yeah, how it should be formatted, okay, all the way through. And on that guide as well at the top, you'll also see as a video link. So it's my voice, unfortunately, again, but you can click on that link and that will take you through into a guide for that guide, basically, which will show you how to do all the other bits and pieces. Okay. So yeah, just a bit of deja vu on that, on some of that. Okay, so it's all there for you on that video as well. Okay, so I jump back. I can't remember, guys, are we going to be doing certificates on the system eventually? Yeah. Yep. Okay, so that's just something as well. So down the line, once we got your award scheme in from September onwards, you'll have the opportunity to be printing certificates off directly from Swimphony. Okay, so for each stage, when children get their awards, they'll be immediately available for you to download, and there'll be a little star next to stage 1, for example, with the number, and you'll be able to open that and then print out all the people that got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, depending on what your award scheme looks like. Okay, so I'll have, this is a SGA, so the certificates won't look like this, but they'll have the children's names and the date achieved on them already. So you'll be able to print that out for your whole group. Okay, so that'll already be done on the system. Okay, so in terms of the pupils and the data we're looking for, okay, we've already got some data in here. Okay, so we'll talk about what the data looks like when there's information in. But to add new pupils, you've got 2 options. To add an individual pupil, we can click on that button and click on next, and that's the copy and paste job into the system. So that's probably where you've got that one pupil that's joined, you know, partway through the program that you need to add. More likely you want to use the multiple pupils option. Click on next. You've got 3 options here to download a template. So that'll be a template that you can edit in Excel. Okay, download a Sims report file or an Arbor report file. So those are report files that you then can download, then you can import into your management systems. Okay, and that will create the report file that Swimphony needs to be uploaded. Okay, so again, if you're not the person that uses your school management system, then find the person that does. Okay, if you do know it, then hopefully you'll be able to sort of go through this process and again use the user guide on how to create the reports needed for Swimphony. Okay, so I click on next. We've got sort of view example, so we can see we've got different headers. We've got the massive long SEN header at the end. Okay, but there's headers for each of the requirements for Swimphony. Not all of them are required fields to allow the file to work. Okay, but some of them are, and we can go through that in a minute. But yeah, basically it's that spreadsheet. It needs to be saved as a CSV, which is a comma separated values file, not an Excel file. A CSV file is a data file. That's what the system needs. An Excel file allows you to do all the formatting and things. So again, the guide just talks about that. Okay, when we upload, and I'm going to do an upload. I'm going to upload a file that's got an error in it, so you can see how that works. Okay, if I click on an upload of a file that I've already created, we can see there that we've got all of the headings of Swimphony down the left-hand side. We've got an example of the first pupil in the list. So the first pupil on my list was Jessica Blake, female, year 4, got a date of birth. Okay, the red headings on the left-hand side are the required fields. Okay, so we need current national curriculum year, registration group, UPN, as we talked about before. We need the UPN to match and make sure we don't get any duplicates. If on those required fields we have a problem, we get the validation issue. So for a registration group on this one, I called that class, so it didn't match. So if I click on that, it now matches. So it's class 4. UPN, I called that number. So all I need to do is find what I called it in my original spreadsheet, and I've now got a match. Okay, so I can now upload that document because the need type, the SEN at the bottom, Okay, it's not required. So if we're uploading it, that'll be great because that will support the swimming teachers on pool side. If you're not uploading that information, okay, you can leave that one blank with the red because, you know, it's not a required field for the system. Okay, so the required fields are the ones that are in red. Okay, so things like, again, it's all detailed in our document, the support document. English as an additional language is obviously there to support the swimming teachers on pool side. We've got no additional reporting on that. Ethnicity is there's like a global report which you can do per pool, which shows the ethnicity of the children that swim. It doesn't link to any children, but again, you can choose to withdraw and just take that out of your spreadsheet, okay, if you don't want to share that information. Okay, but it's only there on a global scale to show numbers across a whole pool. Pupil premium, that's there to support you as a school. Okay, so we were asked by schools to add that, so you can create a report for just the pupil premium pupils. Okay, so that's the reason why that is in there. Medical summary and SEN need type is there again to support teaching on poolside. So again, that's the reason why they're there. It's not always obvious if they've got issues, and you know, things like peanut allergies might not be that obvious to have there as swimming, but if the children are on a coach or in a changing rooms and they're exposed to something, at least there's then a heads up for the swimming teachers what the issue is if anything sort of comes about. So yeah, bits and pieces like that can be sort of checked and again uploaded into the system so it's available for the swimming teachers. Okay, so once you've sort of populated that, you can submit that file. Okay, and again, you'll then have that listed in the system. As we mentioned, every year the year group changes. Okay, and either the pupils are archived if they're year 6 going to year 7, or they go up a year. There's options that you can do around the classes. So for example, we can select a bunch of children. We've got manage selected pupils, and there's things we can do here. So we can link them to a lesson, we can remove them from swimming, we can change the class names. That's where we can en masse move children from one class to another. If you're a one form entry school, you don't really need to worry about the class names because you've got the year groups there. Okay, if you're a larger schools, then yeah, children might move around classes a little bit more. You've also got export attainment data, so that provides you with the Excel spreadsheet of everything in the system. So all the children's names, all the awards, all the national curriculum requirements, all the distances, their initial assessments and their forecast is all there on a massive spreadsheet. So everything there that Swimphony has is in the export attainment data option for you when you select the children on this sheet. But once you've uploaded pupils, again, we mentioned before, we can see the timetable. So this school's got their lesson starting in February. If I click on add pupils in the timetable, we get a filtered view. So I can click on year 5, for example, apply a filter, select all the children, okay, on here. So I've only got 10 children in my example here. But if I then click link 10 pupils to lesson 1, okay, my lesson on the second half of the year has now got 10 pupils attending. Okay, so once the pupils are in there, you've got that list there that you can then populate. Again, you can do bits and pieces. So if you've got multiple lessons or anything like that, if you select any of the children, click on manage pupils, you can see there you can move them to another class. So if you have got multiple classes, you need to move a couple of children from one lesson to another, you can do that. Or you can easily just remove some children if they've passed everything, or they've got a trumpet lesson now at 10 o'clock, they can't go to that lesson anymore, they're going to come at another time. Okay, you can remove them quickly, and now there's only 7 in that lesson. Okay, so that's how all that looks. I'll just jump back into a school that's got data in there, so you can see what it looks like. So you can see the graphs and charts loading up there on that sort of global view for national curriculum. We've got their forecasting over here. If I click on pupils, we can see then that this is all then starting to look a lot busier. So Abigail at the top, we can see Abigail's class. We've got national curriculum, so we've got their 3 national curriculum requirements, and those stars will light up when they've been passed. Okay, the numbers there are distances, so you won't have that this year apart from the 25, but down the line you'll start seeing distances in the new award scheme, which awards have been passed, what the forecast was, and what their baseline was. Okay, and then you can also click on view, so you can see an extended view of the children. Okay, so on here we can see their information. So you as a school would have an edit button here. We can't see that as admins. Okay, so you can see the medical summary is redacted for me, SCN is redacted, date of birth redacted. So you as a school would have an edit button which you'll be able to click on those redacted information will show, and you'll also then be able to edit any information individually for the children. Okay, we can see when awards were achieved, got distances there, and again we can see what's been completed in the lessons. Okay, what the timestamps were. So all that information is available there. I mentioned before about certificates. This school's got children that have got certificates there. You can see the numbers in the stars. So I click on stage 1, I can select all those children, click on print certificates and submit, and then that will do the certificate rundown for that school. Okay. So users resources. Yeah, anything else that Sheffield wants to upload can be on there. So in this resources section, they could be, I don't know what they will do, but down the line they could be adding PDFs and things with sort of some global health and safety documents, things like that can be there to so everything's all in one place. Oh, so I think we've got a hand up.
Hi, Babs. Do you want to ask a question?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hiya,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just sort of going back to when you were talking about moving pupils between classes. We have in quite a few years changed our year 6s around completely. So we're 3-form entry. I know obviously you can move individuals between by selecting 1 or 2 that you've just showed us. My question was, because they keep the same UPN, if we updated it on Sims and then re-uploaded it, I'm assuming that would just correct and automatically edit everything. Or
Yeah, that's how it's designed. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So what you could be uploading this every child in Key Stage 2 every year. So you've always got them, sort of thing. Yeah. So it's up to you. So yeah, it might, even if your children don't swim at year 6, it might still be worth updating them, because then you've got the proper classes then at the end when those teachers want to report on them.
Yeah.
From when they were, so things like that. So yeah, 1-form entry school, you probably don't need to worry about the classes. But yeah, if you're a bigger school, then yeah, it starts to get messy. The whole, we design a system around the UPN. That's the reason why it's there, to stop duplicates, but also allow you to re-upload the same people. Because it is important, if they are returning to swimming as well, you want to be able to refresh their medical information, because that might change dramatically from one year to another. So it's just things like that to keep on top of.
Brilliant. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, so I was probably, I think I was sort of gone through the whole system. There's loads of stuff in the background, which, yeah, we don't need to go through on this call. The main thing is to give that overview, give you a quick introduction, and hopefully, yeah, just get yourself acquainted with the system before you start using it. As we mentioned, the bulk of the information is in the pupil upload guide. Okay, so you can sort of work through that of what we've done. There's also a different guide as well, which has got other bits that we've talked about briefly, which you won't need yet. Down the line, you will. So moving pupils around, adding a new pupil on its own, deleting records, things like that that you won't need the first month, but you'll want to go, okay, I remember they showed us that, but I can't remember what it is. It's in the frequently asked questions guide. So you'll be able to sort of jump into that, which will also be on the portal for you. So yeah, so we've already got all of your schools in. So I just at some point need to press that button, which will send a registration to all of you. Okay, and you can sort of see we've got, you're all there next to your pools, all ready to go.
Just a quick one on that one, Kevin. I think all the schools are already in, but the timetable information is currently being inputted. Karen's doing that as we speak. Well, probably, hopefully not now because she's listening to this, but she's getting that done. So if you were to register, then it might be that the timing isn't there just yet, but it will be there before you start.
That's it. Okay, yeah, I've still got additional training next week for the swimming teachers. Okay, so they'll start using the system from there. Yeah, and yeah, the key bit is it's not to panic. If you've got any issues, then talk to us. Okay, things like the upload. If it doesn't work straight away, then there is a problem. So don't sit there waiting for it. It's that there'll be a problem in the file that we can help you with. Okay, so the upload, yeah, should go through straight away automatically. So yeah, there's things like, again, it's in the support, but there shouldn't be any gaps. So if your medical data goes across multiple rows in the document, there might be a problem. We just need to merge all that together. Okay, so it's that sort of stuff there, but it's all in the guide.
Should we take some questions? See if there's any questions. Has anyone got any questions?
There's a question just gone in the chat by Stephen Glossop. Is there a generic letter which can be personalised for each school to send to parents for permission for GDPR, which would explain about the system and how the system is used?
So because you own the data in Swimphony, we don't do a one for you because it's your portal. Okay, so obviously we're a third-party processor, so that's why we've designed it around the fact that the schools own their own portal rather than you're populating our portal sort of thing. So it shouldn't usually come under letters they've already signed for other aspects of your school information processing.
Yeah, this is part of the national curriculum, so anything that the parents have signed around using pupil data in order to deliver the national curriculum, this is covered within. So you shouldn't have to get additional permission from parents to what you already have for other areas of the curriculum. If anyone needs support on that, or if we're wrong, or if it's different for your school, then just let us know, speak to us and we can help. Is that all right? Is it Steve who? Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, brill. Any other questions?
That's good. Yeah, so again, yeah, we look forward to we've been really excited ever since we first started talking to Sheffield. It's it's a really important city for us to work with. So yeah, we're really looking forward to working with the team, working with all the schools in the area. You've got some fantastic teachers we've already worked with. So yeah, hopefully the whole point of Swimphony is to give you more access to your swimming, which will drive standards up. We're that's the whole point. We want children to get the best teaching possible and all that sort of stuff. And we know from previous that Swimphony can help with that, because there's a lot more opportunity for you and the swimming teachers to interact with the system and to really keep on top of what's going on, as well as the team that support it all, be able to see exactly what's going on in all their pools as well at any one time. So that's the key one for us.
And there is some element of communication that can happen through the system as well, between you and our teachers on poolside, which is something we really are excited about. But I think the main chunk of this session is just to introduce you all to the system, make sure you realise what's being uploaded, how to upload it, and then just make sure you know that we're there to support you. We're trying to keep everything simple for this block, so just keeping all the national curriculum stuff exactly the same, so that the teachers are familiar with it. And then come September, we are going to introduce some new parts of the sort of curriculum, which will make it much better for pupils and more exciting. So yeah, anything to add, Rachel?
No, I don't think so. We've covered everything.
Is anybody, Karen, have you got anything that's on your mind that you want to mention to any of the teachers online now?
No, just that I'm just going through the timetable. I'm just putting the timetable into the system. Started it today, so I'm up to Concord and Graves pools. I've got another 11 venues to go through.
Okay, brill.
I'm giving myself a deadline for this Friday, so it's should be done for this Friday. Be a bottle of vodka under it.
Tim, is there anything that you need to mention? Tim's been the one sort of buying our tablets and sorting out all sorts of things with Kevin. So everyone's had different sort of roles to play in getting this off the ground. So yeah, anything, Tim, from your end?
I think the only thing would be is that even though the system doesn't require schools to put in like medical information, that is the stuff that we do need on poolside. So we would say that we require that information in the system, like we do at the moment on our paper registers. So even though the system says it doesn't need it, we do still need some information.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
the thing
point.
I did point out at the start as well is you don't need any software in the schools. This is all on web browsers. So yeah, it'll be schools.swimphony.com is where you'll be logging into once you've sort of registered. And just, yeah, you might just need to make sure you're using modern browsers. So sometimes your schools might still be linked. I'm sure Sheffield is up to date, but you know, sometimes schools' email accounts are linked to Internet Explorer, but you know that hasn't been supported on Microsoft for 5 years now, so we don't support it. So yeah, any modern browser, Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, or Safari should be fine. If you've got Internet Explorer, then try to avoid using that because it isn't set up for modern websites, especially ours that requires the enhanced security.
Great. Tim, is it worth putting together a list of the required the fields that are required by us to make sure we can deliver good lessons, so that it's maybe featured in the frequently asked questions, so that when if schools miss that off by accident because it's not a required field within the system, that it's obvious what we need.
Yes, yeah, I've sent it out in an email about data that we sent out a few weeks ago, and we will have a Swimphony page on our website that we can then keep adding to, and useful things that schools say we can add it onto our webpage, so little tips and such like. So yeah, we'll consistently be updating the website with information about Swimphony in the next few weeks.
Brilliant. And we're going to put this video somewhere, aren't we, as well, so that you can refer back to it if you need to, or just pick up the phone, give us a ring, and we'll help you where we can.
Yeah, so if Karen's trying to finish the timetables for Friday, then the best bet is if we send all that out on Monday, because you don't want to get people getting things on a Friday. So we'll hopefully next Monday you should be expecting a registration and then the confirmation of your timetable slots for February. Put the pressure on.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's great. Is there any more questions just before we finish up? I know there's a couple of people who we admitted into the room really late there, but that's absolutely fine because it's going to this is being recorded, so we can send you the recording. But as far as I can see, I think we're done. So thank you so much to Kevin for coming along and going through that with us. Thanks to Karen, Tim and Rachel for pulling it all together. And thank you all for coming to give your time. I really do think this is going to be such a game changer for the school swim service. So we want to support you to do it, but obviously we are totally appreciative of the time that you put in to make it work. And I think a little bit of legwork at this end will mean it'll be easy for future years. So that's brilliant. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Cheers, Emma.
Cheers. Bye.